Hey guys, it's Ya Hughes here, your favorite purpose cultivator, coming to you today, sharing with you, guess what? My first ever solo trip. That's right, you heard me correctly. I went on a trip by myself. Me, myself, and I. She, me, her. No children, no husband, not for work, not a girls trip, not for a conference, not to speak, but for no other reason than to just sit back and enjoy myself. That's right. So I wanted to share with you all what I learned from the trip, how was my experience, why I decided to travel alone, and of course, where'd I go? So yes, here is all about my experience traveling solo. So, I went to Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, how did you end up in Charleston, South Carolina? Well, let me tell you. So, when I decided that I wanted to go on a solo trip, I wanted to take some time and reflect on my life and what I was embarking on, as I just turned 40 years old. So, I'm super excited about that. And I wanted to take some time and reflect on everything that has led up to this very moment. So, I wanted to do some self-reflection, seeing how I've grown as a person, my thoughts, my emotions, all of that good stuff. I wanted a little bit of R&R, right? I wanted to take some time to rest. I wanted to take some time to replenish. I wanted to take some time just to be with me. Not because anything was wrong, but the complete opposite. There is so much amazing and great things going on in my life. I really wanted to press pause and take it all in and just really reflect on all that God has done, has led me to this moment, and where I am going. So I thought that Charleston was the best place to do that. Why? Because originally I was going to go to Arizona to a spa resort and stay on the resort, check myself in, just get all this lavish treatment, relax, sleep, journal, and that was it. While I still want to do that, Arizona wasn't the best place during this season and this time because it's a high peak season and it was a little more traveling going on, so it was a little crowded. And I was talking to one of my sorority sisters and she recommended Charleston. So after doing some research, I fell in love with Charleston. So I was excited to explore. It seemed like it was going to give me everything that I wanted and needed in this experience. And Charleston did not disappoint me. So went to Charleston. The reason why I picked Charleston because of its culture, its historical views, the food, and it was voted one of the safest places for female solo travelers. So if it was voted one of the safest places, then it was also voted one of the top 10 places to travel and to bring a family. So if it was safe for women and good for family, I knew that I was going to have an amazing time, but not feel anxious or fearful or anything like that. So I was excited to explore Charleston, and I'm talking from day one. I hit the ground running, right? I hit the ground running. I was excited to go and explore and all of that good stuff. I'm going to show you right here. It is day one of my solo trip. I have literally been here for, I'm going to say, a good hour. Freshened up right from the plane. I am headed to go get something to eat. I thought that I was going to just order something and stay in, but I was told that you don't come to Charleston and just eat out of the hotel. You have to experience the culture and the food. So, and it's within walking distance of my hotel. So I am headed to King Street now to get something to eat. I am not afraid. When I got off the airplane, I was telling my husband that it felt like I was supposed to be, although this is my first solo trip, It just felt right. It just felt like this is where I was supposed to be, and I'm excited. Hello 40, hello reflection, hello embracing, hello experiencing things by myself that is new, that is fun. I am kind of semi-chic. I am cute up top, but I got on some sneakers down below because this is like a walking city. So I'm excited. I can hear people and see all kinds of stuff. You hear it. So I'm excited to experience Charleston's culture. I will share with you if you are. On day 2, I really was in tourist sightseeing mode. I was able to see some wonderful sights, and this is when I fell in love with Charleston. Charleston is an amazing city that is rich in culture. It's a great place to explore alone. There is a lot of history. There is a lot of things to see and to do. And for me, Charleston really appealed to all 5 of my senses, right? It was aesthetically pleasing to the eye. There was a lot of good food. There was a lot of good things to do there. I mean, it was just a beautiful place. One of my favorite things on day 2 with my sightseeing was Rainbow Row. Guys, Rainbow Row is like a city block full of homes that are different colors. And when you think of different colors, it's not just, you know, these bold colors that clash and all of that, but aesthetically it was like literally like a pastel rainbow from one house to the next. So it was really beautiful to see. It had all of the southern charm. There were great greenery, there were cobblestones, so it was just really appealing to my eye, and I fell in love with it. And one of the best surprises to that was when you got to the end of Rainbow Row, you were met with this beautiful view of the water, and there was like this small little beach. So I got an opportunity to overlook it and to just sit and to just reflect. And I could just remember thinking that Charleston owes me nothing, and I was just in awe of God, and I was just grateful that I had an opportunity just to see this and to be there and to just take in the moment. So Rainbow Row was one of my favorite experiences with Charleston. Like that. So outside of the beautiful view of Rainbow Row, then there was the Pineapple Fountain, where that's right on the water and on the pier. And it literally is a water fountain, and it's gold and it's shaped like a pineapple, and it's just beautiful. And it's surrounded by several benches where you could just sit and listen to the water while looking out at the ocean. So it was just amazing. And then the food in Charleston is phenomenal. Do you hear me? That down south food experience was amazing. My top 2 places that I went to eat were Ruth Chris, and Ruth Chris is everywhere, but Ruth Chris is my favorite because I get to treat myself to lamb chops, which is one of my childhood favorite meals. I could just remember my mom making me lamb chops, mashed potatoes, and corn for my birthday. So when I took myself out to my birthday dinner, I had lamb, and it was just nostalgic, and it just was something that I really enjoyed. And then Callie's Hot Little Biscuit. Y'all, let me tell you something. That's why I said I ain't never have a biscuit that was this amazing. Listen, this biscuit was so good that I brought the biscuit mix home to make it again. That's how good the biscuit is. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with cheddar and roasted tomatoes. The biscuit was like this big, and it was falling apart. It was buttery, it was flaky. It just was amazing. If you're ever in Charleston, Callie's Hot Little Biscuit. I knew that it was a winner because the night before when I was exploring, the line was wrapped around the corner, okay? There's no place to sit inside and eat. So I knew that it's good food when there's a line for the food. So I had purpose in my heart that I was going back to see what they had. And they had an array of different types of biscuits, different types of add-ons, what you can get with it. So it was incredible. So the food was great. The sights were great, and there were just some great nightlife, some great music. There was just rich in culture. I went to and did a day at the spa at the Belmont, and it was incredible. I got my first ever body scrub. Now, I've been going to the spa since I was 22. So I think the first time that I stepped foot into a spa was at 22. So that's been 18 years. So I'm not new to the spa game, and I love a good massage, throw in some hot stones, all of that good stuff. But this body scrub, baby, took me to another level. Not only did the body scrub take me to another level, so they're exfoliating your entire body, and you come out feeling like you just came out of the womb. Your skin is amazing, and it felt good. But the experience, right? The customer service was top of the line, and it was amazing from beginning to end. So overall, my experience was amazing. So followed by, after I got the body scrub, I then got a signature massage as well as a facial, and then I had lunch, and then I laid out on the rooftop and just listened to the city and the heartbeat of the city and just read my book. So it was just a wonderful experience for me, right? So I got an opportunity to do enough, but not too much. I still had time where I stayed in the room, I reflected, I took a nap, I journaled, right? I had time to myself, I met wonderful people. So overall, my first solo trip was amazing. And some of the questions that I got were, first, was I afraid? And I wasn't sure exactly what they were asking, so I'm going to try to answer as much. Was I afraid to go alone? No, I wasn't afraid to go alone. I was actually excited to go on a trip by myself. Was I afraid when I was in Charleston? Overall, I wasn't scared to explore. I wasn't scared to be out and about. On the first night, my hotel, I stayed at the Hilton. It was the Homewood Suites by Hilton, and it was in between two major streets, Meeting and King Street in Charleston. And the way that you kind of exit the hotel kind of on the side and not on the street, so it was in between two streets, almost like a small alley or a small street that was not heavily populated. So when I went out, it was daylight, but when I came back, it was pretty dark, and there was it's a parking garage, and then it was like just an empty lot. But then in the empty lot there were a few homeless people, and I was a little nervous walking back from there because I didn't know what to expect, because it wasn't a very well lit street, and because again I'm in a different city. So that part was a little scary. I wound up walking in the middle of the street just to make sure, so that if any cars were coming or anything, but I made sure that I didn't travel too late. So this was about 8:30, right? So that was the only time that I felt a little fearful, but it wasn't enough to paralyze me, and it wasn't enough to stop me from going out and still going out at night for the rest of my trip, right? Then the next question I got, the overarching question was I lonely? Absolutely not. I have been going out by myself and having me dates and going to lunch and dinner and movies and all of those things by myself since I was about 23 years old. And I enjoy myself, so I wasn't bored, I wasn't lonely, none of that. I think that because I am a wife, a mother, and at my job, I service people. You know, I work at a university, so I service college students. In my business, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, so I'm always around people and doing and pouring into. I think that it was just enough for me to just kind of relax and be by myself and not be working on anything, not be writing anything, not be coming up with content, nothing, not being available to anybody. So I really had a great time with me. Would I do it again? Absolutely. This is going to be a yearly thing now that I have done this. I think that I want to lead up to international. So right now I'm going to explore a few more years in the States, and then I'm going to go international by myself. What other question did I get, or that was an overarching thing? What were the pros and cons of traveling alone? I don't really have many cons because I didn't feel like I was lonely. I didn't feel like I needed somebody there. Definitely the pros, outside of you really getting in touch with, yourself and all of that. I think that you get an opportunity to pick where you want to go. You don't have to worry about getting a consensus from the group and all of that. Who wants this? Who doesn't eat that? Or whatever. You get to see what you want to see. You get to take as much time as you want to take. You can wake up in the morning and have a full itinerary and then scratch it. You can wake up and go somewhere else and change your plans. So I think that for all of those reasons, it was great, right? There were some of the pros. The only con for me was I picked a location that was right downtown, and I wanted to go explore a little out of downtown a little bit, but I'm not an Uber or Lyft type of person. I just am not, I think that's the part of me of living amongst or being in between different generations. I'm not a millennial. I'm a little older than a millennial, but I'm an old school taxi, car service, or transportation. And one of the things, I did stay confined to downtown, which was great, but there were a couple of places that I wanted to venture out to, but they were 30 and 40 minutes away, and I couldn't see myself getting in a Lyft to go 30, 40 minutes away, and I did not rent a car. So I think that if I was to go again, I would rent a car so that I can go where I want to go and be comfortable in my own skin and not be worried about getting in somebody's Lyft or vehicle or anything like that. So I think that the only con for me was that I was limited with transportation, and I would have rented a car next time that I go to a major city. So that was pretty much it. Really quickly, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I've learned while being at Charleston. First, historically, I didn't realize that Charleston was number one for the rice business. And I can remember as a child seeing this brown and white box, and it just says Charleston rice or Charleston, rice or whatever it said, but it said Charleston really big. So after I went to the Charleston Museum and read up on it and read up on what Charleston was known for and those things, I didn't realize that Charleston was where rice was harvested, and there was the first plantation for rice and all of that. So that was good that I learned. I learned that traveling solo is not as scary as you think, right? When we think about traveling alone, I got everything from, are you scared? Somebody's gonna snatch me, somebody was gonna get me, all of that kind of stuff. I think that it's really all in our head. Do you have to be aware of your surroundings? Absolutely, right? I wasn't, when I was meeting people, I wasn't like, oh, I'm on a solo trip by myself, because, I don't know whether they are natives to the area, whether they was watching me or anything like that. So I think that one is not as scary as you think. You do have to be aware of your surroundings, but a lot of the stuff, our fears are in our head, right? And we watch too much SVU and all of that stuff. So I learned to trust my own judgment. I learned that, you know, like, I'm okay, and I know what's best for me and what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with. I wasn't afraid, but knowing my limits was good. I learned again that nature and scenery, and I need to have all of my five senses stimulated. It's what replenishes me. It's what makes me thrive. So sitting and listening to the water and seeing all of the different sights, the garden, you know, all of these things was really good for me, and it allowed for me to come back rejuvenated and ready, and my mind is clear and all of that. So these were some of the things that I learned overall. I learned that I am good company, right? I didn't at no point miss a beat, right? So there were times when I went out to eat. There were times when I carried my journal or a book. There were times where I didn't, right? And I didn't feel awkward. I didn't feel out of place. I didn't feel any of that. There were times when I was in a store and, you know, like I was talking to somebody and we were leaving out the store laughing as if we were together. But I overall am my own good company. I didn't miss anyone. Like, I know that you're clutching your pearls, right? I thought that it was just enough time, right? The 4 days, 3 nights was just enough time with me. Now, when I got to the airport and when I was, you know, like driving from Philadelphia to Delaware, I started to like, I'm excited to see my family. I'm excited to see my children, but I really didn't feel like homesick. I didn't feel like I missed my husband and my kids and I needed to get back home. And what did I do, or what did I get myself into? No, I was exploring. I was enjoying myself. I slept like a baby. Like, you know, there was one night that I didn't sleep well, but I think that was because of the hotel and being in a foreign place, not so much because I was missing anybody. But I did miss me. I did realize that I missed my own company, that I missed just and not doing anything and not being and not all of that. So that was pretty good. That, do you know that you could really miss yourself, right? And just who you are and what makes you smile and what makes you laugh and what makes you tick. Would I change anything? No, I wouldn't change anything. Like I said, I would, on my next experience, I think that I would rent a car. I think that 4 days, 3 nights was enough. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I don't think that I needed another day to do that. Again, I think that it was transportation. So overall, my first solo trip was absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that Charleston was that first experience for me, because it kind of set the bar and I know what I need, right? I know that I need something that's not too fast paced but not slow to where I can't do anything. I know that I need something that's within walking distance, but I have the option of driving somewhere if I'd like to. I know that I want something that's a thriving area, and you know, like there is, you know, the city or the town doesn't shut down at 5 o'clock and I'm just in the room or in the hotel the rest of the evening. So it was overall my first experience going solo was amazing, and I would do it again and again and again and again. Actually, I am looking forward to doing it again. I am already trying to figure out some of the towns or the places or the states that I want to go to, that I can just relive this experience and do it all over again. And it was great for my self-reflection. It was great for rejuvenating my mind, my spirit, and just resting up. And I believe that I am a better wife, I am a better mother, I am a better person, I am a better, you know, employee, I am a better business person. I am better because I took the time that was needed for me. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. I hope that you take some time to yourself. Listen, I am not trying to sell you on going on a solo trip across the country or to another state, any of that. What I am is just giving you the push to do whatever is needed for you to truly come into yourself and really replenish yourself, your spirit, your mind, get the rest that you need, be rejuvenated so that you can thrive in every capacity, in every area of your life. If that means that you need to get away and go on a solo trip, if that means that you just need to take a drive somewhere, whatever that means, be true and honor what it is that you need so that you can flourish and that you can thrive and that you can be all that you are desiring to be and all that God is creating for you to be. So this was my experience. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you it sparked and piqued your interest, that you want to do something that you've always been wanting to do, and that you choose you and that you would go for it. Have a great day, guys. See you later.